Okay, so union all is a set operator which simply selects everything, even the duplicates, as many times as they appear. On the contrary, the union will not select duplicate as many times as they appear, but will only select it once. So union is like a distinct, but then you will be like, okay, if we already have distinct, why do we have union? Distinct can work with a single table, single query. Union can take union of the output of multiple queries. That's the difference. So when I say union or union all or intersect or except or minus, and these are set operators, they actually are an operator between two independent queries. So you have a proper complete select on one side, and you have a proper complete select on the other side. So the first select generates an output, the second select generates an output, then you apply the set operators to the output coming from both sets. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
Okay. So intersect. Intersect is like, okay, give me the common. So what's common between the two sets?
The Harry Potter title.
That's it. That's it. That will be the only output that'll come out of it. Minus. What will be the output of minus? If I say books minus movies.
Would it be all of them but Harry Potter?
It will be everybody from books except for Harry Potter.
Yeah. Okay.
Right? Well, that'll be minused out. So that's what basically it is. That's how these operators work. Now, here is another diagram which talks about some of these. I basically found this on LinkedIn. So it talks about joins in SQL though, but I wanted to share it with you guys. So
that's actually really helpful because I feel like seeing a visual representation really helps when you're trying to understand it, like reading it in the chapter, you know?
Yeah. So this is for the first half of the chapter. So I want you to look at this diagram. Does anybody has any questions about these diagrams? Okay. Can you tell me the common field between customers YS and orders YS tables? The common field.
Customer ID?
What is it actually called?
Oh, sorry, customer number, I think.
It's a customer hashtag.
Yes.
Okay. Now, if I select customer hashtag from customers YS, I will get all unique customers. And when I do the same with orders YS, I may get repeat customers, or I may get customers that are in the first table, but not in the second table. Right? Well, the reason is because not all customers have placed orders. So I have two distinct queries. If I say select star from customers YS, that's everybody. But if I say I want to only see the customer hashtag, this will only be the customers table. And if I do something similar for orders YS, we'll have, okay, so go ahead and run these individual queries. And whenever you run a query, it tells you how many records it yields. You know, the first one for me is 20. The second one for me is 21. The second one has more data items. That doesn't mean it has more customers, more unique customers. But because if I were to look at the distinct customers, there are only 14 unique customers. So now, let's say if I have been given the following task. Select list of all customers, or I should say in like specifically customer IDs that have placed orders. Note, avoid duplicates. If I were to do this with set, which set operator should I use?
Wouldn't it be intersect? Or no?
Intersect. Intersect will give me the commons, right?
Yeah.
So I list both of these items and I use intersect. So these are those 14 people that have placed orders. So as you can see, the first query generates one set. The second query generates the second set. And then you intersect the two sets. So in other words, these are the customers whose IDs are found in both sets. If I take the same query and I do a union, what do you think the output will be?
You'll get 20 rows
I will get 20 rows. Why?
because all of the customer numbers show up in customers YS already. So it won't be getting anything extra from orders YS.
Exactly. Okay. Because the customer number in orders YS are already here. So it'll only select it once. As a result, I will get 20 rows only. And what if I do a union all? Instead of union?
It will duplicate orders. From both tables.
Okay. So as a result, how many records will I get?
41.
41, right? 20 from one and the 21 from the other. Yep. Now, if I am given the following charge, give me all those customer numbers that have not yet placed orders. Which set operator should I use?
Would it be the except or the minus?
Yeah, it will be DB2 uses except, so we will use except. So these are the 6 people, because we know that 14 have their total 20. So these are the 6 who have never placed. Okay, everybody has this working. Let me clear your feedback. So we have Tony, Jacklear, and Devin still working on it. Okay. So guys, I will be putting you guys in a breakout room for 12 minutes. In these 12 minutes, you will not only just be reading the material from pages 240 through 245, but we'll also do those 3 examples from the book, from the database finals. So remember, each of the tables in the book ends with the final. Remember, yeah? So I will open your breakout rooms now. I know we worked with joins last time, but our working with the joins was only limited to working with 2 tables. We never worked with more than 2 tables. So now we will work with some examples where we will work with more than 2 tables. But before we start doing that, I want you to go back to course documents. And in the course documents, I want you to click on that folder, SQL scripts and ERD, and look at this example here. Or maybe have it handy someplace, or keep this tab open so that when we are looking at multiple tables, it'll be easier for you to sort out the problems. So you'll be able to establish links, because sometimes I will be interested in grabbing data from 2 tables that are not directly linked. So we may take help from some intermediate tables or a table that will help us link the 2 tables that are not linked. And those are the situations in which you mainly include multiple tables in a join. Okay. Now, let's say for every item ordered, I want to display the item number and the book title and the book author. Look at your entity relationship diagram and tell me which tables I will use to do this.
It looks like the order items table, the books table, and the book author table.
So order items, books, and author. Okay. So item number, that comes from which table?
The order items table.
And book title comes from
The book. Yep.
And this comes from the author table. So I have 3 tables involved. Okay. What are the common fields? What 2 tables are linked?
Order items and book.
Okay. Order items and books. How are they linked?
ISBN number.
Linked on ISBN number. Okay. What else?
Looks like they're all connected through
Oh, yeah.
ISBN.
The book author has ISBN too.
Author and books are also linked on ISBN. Okay. So books is the intermediate table. Order items has no connection with author because of the primary key foreign key relationship. You can't connect 2 foreign keys with each other. So the primary key is the one that usually gets connected with a foreign key. Okay, so now let's select. Let me give my table some aliasing. So from order items O, books I'm gonna call B, and I have my author, which I'll call A. So those are my aliasing that I'll use. I'll fill in the blanks next. So I'm going to select from order items item number. Oops. From the books, I want to select the title. Okay. When I say book author, the book author, is that a full name, first name, last name? How is the book author names stored?
So it looks
Author
like,
ID.
yeah, and it looks like the names are in a separate author table, but the book author has the author ID.
Uh-huh. So we need book author table as well. So we need actually 4 tables, right? Correct?
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah. So we need book author and books are linked in ISBN. And then we need author and book author linked on which field? What's the common field between them?
Author ID.
Author ID. Okay. So okay. So we have books, order. So we have 4 tables here in this query. So item number comes from order items, title comes from book, and the name of the author actually comprises of multiple fields because it is a combination of last name and first name. So now I have a luxury of deciding however I want to display. Okay. Now I need to start my joins. Inner join. So order items, inner join book on O.ISBN number equals to B.ISBN. Where books inner join book author on, again, ISBN, which inner join author on author ID. So now that displays an item number. And for that item, it displays the title of that item and the author of that item. Okay, so Josh, Luke, Jack Lear, are you guys done too? Oh, cool. Any questions anybody has about this query? Okay. Now you can imagine what kind of queries Amazon would be writing, right?
Oh my gosh, that would be wild to see.
Yeah. Okay. Now, can you write the query for this problem? And give me a green check when you are done writing the query for this problem. So guys, which tables are part of this solution? Which tables are part of this solution?
Order
Order.
items,
Okay, order items, okay,
publisher, and books.
publisher and books, okay. Is order items related to books or publishers?
Books.
Books, okay, so I will move the publisher on the other side. Okay, what's common between these two guys?
ISBN.
Okay, and what's common between these two guys?
Pub ID.
Okay. Usually Greg tells us about that field, pub ID. You like the first three letters of that field, Greg, by any chance?
I mean,
It's kidding. Okay, so now we need to select data from the table. So let me grab some of this information. And now we will connect this with publisher P on P dot pub ID equals to B dot.
I think you put O dot pub ID.
Oh, thank you. P. So this will be able to retrieve the items alongside the publishers of those items.
Wait, didn't you say publisher name?
Oh, yeah, this is what publisher name is, right? What do you mean? I mean, like they are linked on publisher ID, but I'm displaying the publisher name.
Wait, so that reading material is the publisher name?
Say that again?
yeah.
Um,
Yeah, P dot name will display the publisher name, right? So it's a name field in the publisher table.
no, I was talking about that name, that reading materials.
Yeah,
Oh,
those are all the
yeah,
publisher names.
yeah, these are all the publishers. Tony, Luke, and Jack Lear, and Devin. Okay, I will be putting you guys in a breakout room again to work on the two examples from the book on pages 246 and 247. The examples are slightly longer. That's why I've set aside 10 minutes for the two examples, which will be example 21, 22. Example 21 is about joins. However, it was also about sets. So we have two queries that are getting joined using union. But the second page, page 247, example 22, that is about joining multiple tables. So, and with also an order by clause. So I will open the rooms now. A query. When you write a query within another query, that makes it a subquery or a nested query or an inner query. So what you do is, so far we have been writing single level queries. So whatever you do, you get to see an output. But now we will be diving into, you're writing a query, and that query will send in the results, which will then become an input for the higher level query, which will then give you your final output. There's no limit to how many levels you can nest, by the way, in case if you're wondering. With the modern databases, you don't really have any kind of limits there. In the good old days, we used to have some limits, like you can only nest up to 16 levels or whatever, but they pretty much, nobody goes that much anyway. So anyway, everybody's back, right? Want to make sure. Okay, cool. Nobody's out shoveling. It happened to be so that last time my students actually went out to shovel in the break. And
I'll probably be shoveling after. I've seen the plow and salt truck go by a bunch. So
that's what I hate the most. Those trucks, man, they create those walls which are so hard to break.
yes, they're like ice, and I am not a tall person, so it's like I wish I was taller so I had more leverage with that stuff, but yeah, it's bad.
Yeah, but looks like so, I mean, like okay. Now let's say if I am writing this query, select all
Can you
books.
share your screen, please?
My screen is not sharing. Okay, hold on a second. I'll share my screen.
Thanks.
Thank you for telling me that. Okay, so let's say if I want to select all books. Where the cost is more than average cost of all books. I want to select all books where cost is more than the average cost of all books. How do you think I should write this query? Any suggestions, ideas?
Select
Well,
average.
Select average? No, I don't want to select average. I want to select all books. Okay. Now help me. I want to select all books where cost is more than the average cost of all books. Did we lose somebody? I don't see Josh, right? Okay. Yes, guys. Select star from books now.
I was gonna say where.
Okay. Where? Okay. Then
I was gonna say cost is greater than AVG with cost in parentheses, but I don't think that's gonna work, and so I'm thinking it through.
I tried it doesn't work.
it will not work. It will not work. The reason it will not work is because you cannot have an aggregate function on one side of the operator and a single value field on the other side of the operator. It will just simply not work. The reason is because you're telling SQL that I want to calculate a summed up value, but I want this to be calculated as many times as there are a number of records in the table. It'll just go nuts because it would have to make this aggregate value run 1,000,000 times. And that totally kills the purpose of it. Are you following that?
Yeah, that makes sense.
Okay. So now this is a good example to introduce a subquery. So what I will do is I will write a subquery on the other side of greater than sign and say that I want you to select average cost from books. So it will return one hard-coded value to the outside. So this query will only run once and will send one hard-coded value to the outside. Since now the outer query has to deal with a single hard-coded value, it doesn't mind. It will say, okay, I will give you the books. Does that make sense?
Yeah, definitely.
Okay.
Pretty cool.
I could see how it could get complicated with like 16 of them. You know, I know that probably makes sense why that limit used to exist, you know.
Yeah, because yeah. Now if I want I want to know the title of the most expensive book. Okay. Let's see if you can crack this one.
And is that retail or cost? Oh,
Yeah, it does look nasty. I mean, like, I just have looked. I just peeked outside. I wish I would not.
Yeah, don't do that. Just pretend like it's not happening.
Yeah, I'll just wait.
I have no windows where I am, so that's good.
That's how it used to be when we were at the Inspire Center, which is now Inspire Center, but used to be Center for Bioscience on Kenosha campus, because none of the IT classrooms have any windows. So you will be like, in like four-sided wall. And then when you're done, you go out and like, oh my God, what happened?
Yeah. Then you also have the like circular area with the computers.
Yeah, but you know, we wouldn't go there. We were like in that hallway down below, down in the hallway. We had like 4 classrooms. And none of the classrooms had windows, so you wouldn't even know what's going on outside.
My
And
high school was like that. They had no windows. It was like you go outside, you have no clue. It's awful.
And back in those days, the weather services were not as good as they are, you know, I mean, like comparatively 10, 12 years ago. I mean, you would not have any updates until you literally go and check.
I remember in 2011, it was my last year of high school, and we had that really bad snowstorm, and they had already given us so many days off. So they were like, no, you're coming to school. Well, again, my school doesn't have any windows. So when everybody got let out, it was just pandemonium in the parking lot. One girl's car started on fire because she kept trying to rev the engine to get out. And it was like crazy. And then we ended up having like 2 days off afterwards because it was so much snow.
Yeah, I mean, I remember when I was teaching at Lakeview that they ran out of snow days and they made me come. Even though I was, you know, I was a Gateway faculty member teaching one morning class. It was like 7:30 or 7:20 start, whatever, something like that. They made me go, and it was so bad that you could even tell the ditch from road.
Oh no.
And I'm like, wow.
Did you get stuck or did you make it?
No, I made it. It just took me like 3 times the amount of time it took me to drive there on normal
Yikes.
days. But yeah, and plus the problem was it was drifting very bad.
Yeah, I can believe it. Well, because I know where Lakeview is, and it's like kind of on like a county-ish road. Like it's on like it's not like in the main city, right? It's
Right.
like by the Recplex, kind of.
Yeah, it's like in Pleasant Prairie and that whole stretch. It is, I mean, like I'm talking about at least 13 years ago. So, you know, now you have a lot more things constructed on the road. We didn't have those roundabouts. Yeah, it was just like whatever. Anyway, we had less people in Kenosha back then. So guys, what is the solution for this one? Okay, I wrote half the answer for you.
MCO went ahead and wrote the rest in the chat.
But that has a problem, Emka. Emka didn't write it correctly. First of all, he selected everything. I only needed a title. And the other thing is where clause is wrong.
I did where retail is greater than or equal to, and then a subquery where it says
No, not greater than equals, just equals to.
equal. Okay.
Because I'm
And then
looking, yeah.
Yeah.
Amka, did you see where you went wrong with this?
I mean, would he get the same result? Because
Well,
it is
when I was in,
equivalent on the same
when
side.
I was in school, they never taught me about like this. There's a difference between before and after, but
Yeah, proper would be to write the field equals to the value, as opposed to the output equals to the field. Okay, so the proper way would be to write the field equals to the inner query. And then the other thing was that he selected everything as opposed to just selecting the title. Now, if I add to the list saying, okay, I want to know and the title and the retail. So what amount is that? So then I can include the retail and the amount. I mean, like retail and the name. Or if somebody says, I want to also know the category of the most expensive book, then you can also add that which category has the most expensive book.
So how are you getting it to quickly select the line you're on?
Oh, Control Shift Home. Oh, sorry. Control. A whole second. I did, Shift Home, and then I do Control R. So Shift Home. To select, and then Control R to run.
Man, that price is not painless.
Now, I think you also asked me, I don't know if I told you that or not, about, hold a second. Which font? I told you I use Arial Black. I don't know if I told you that or not. You asked me a few weeks ago.
Okay, yeah, I do remember asking that.
Okay, let me give you guys your next query. Select all information about the book that costs more than about the books that cost more than data implementation book. Let me clear your previous feedbacks unless Cole is already done. We'll wait for maybe 2-3 more people to be done with this, and then we'll ask for the output. Four people I know have had it for a few minutes. Anybody else has it?
I cannot figure it out.
Luke, Amka, Robert, Jax, Victor, Francisco. None of you have the solution? Okay, let's ask. Cole, what do you have here?
I have select all from books where cost is greater than, and then parentheses,
Uh-huh.
select cost from books where title is equal to database implementation.
Very good. So basically what you're doing is you're asking the inner query to give you the cost from the books table of the book that has the title of database implementation. that cost is returned to the outer query. The outer query will then use that cost as a yardstick, that any book that has a cost that exceeds that amount, it will select those books. Okay? Does that make sense to anybody who was struggling with that?
Yeah, I
Yeah.
misspelled implementation, and that's why I was getting an error.
Oh, okay, okay. I will make a slight change to this query or this description. Select all information about the books in computer category. Okay, so that's the only change I've made in the query. And you guys figure out the solution and give me a green check when you do. Okay, this time we will ask Tony. Tony, what change did you made to this query?
Just I just put and category equals computer
Where?
at the on the outside of the parentheses.
Okay, thank you. Where the category,
I didn't put where, I just put and.
oh, sorry, and you're right, my bad. And category equals to computer. Okay, let me give you another query. See if you can crack this one, okay? Select titles of all books that yield profit of more than the average profit of all books. Let me clear the previous participants. Okay, we will ask Luke this time. Luke, can you please help us?
I have select title from books where retail minus cost is more than,
No, we're not. Okay. You said retail minus cost, right? Okay.
yeah,
Okay, where?
is greater than,
Uh-huh.
parentheses, select average retail minus cost from books.
Okay, very good. Cool. Awesome. Thank you. So we first figure out the average profit, and then we select all the books where the profit exceeds the average profit. Okay. Now this one should be very easy, the next one. Okay, we will ask Devin this time. Devin, can you please tell us what you have?
I did select title from books.
Okay. Now, Victor, you only selected the minimum amount. We're not looking for a minimum amount. We're looking for the title of that book. Okay, yeah, go ahead, Devin.
Where retail equals parentheses select min retail from books.
Does that make sense to you, Victor? What we did here, we selected the minimum amount, send it out to the outer query. That displayed the title of the book, which has the minimum amount. Exactly like we did with the maximum amount. Where's that? See, select the title of the book with the max amount, the most expensive, and this is the least expensive. Okay. Now, you could do it with costs too, since I didn't mention that. The same thing could be done with where cost is equals to the least expensive by cost. So if, I mean, like if the question is about select the title of the least expensive book by cost, then the second one will be the answer. If it says by retail, then the first one will be the answer. So So Big Bear and Little Dove is for both. It's least expensive by cost and least expensive by retail. Wow. Okay. So, Amka, does that answers your question? Okay, cool. Now, let me give you guys the next query. I would like you to display the last name of the author of the most expensive book by retail. Okay, only 3 people got it so far. Okay, we'll give like 5 minutes, or maybe like 3 to 5 minutes to see if more people can get it. Okay, so what are some of the challenges for those of you who are not yet done? What are some of the challenges? Those of you who are not yet done, where are you stuck?
For me, I'm just getting multiple answers, so I think I have a logical error somewhere.
Okay, okay. So for example, Jack, let's start with you. So what do you got after you put your select? What are you selecting?
Last name.
So let's
From-
assume that is author, right?
Yeah.
Okay. And you have to make sure that this is the author of the most expensive book, which we already sort of kind of did the where clause for. So I will just go down to that statement and do, okay, something like this. Now got to fill in the gaps. Now, the retail is in which table?
The books table.
Okay. And last name is in which table?
The author table.
Okay. And now going back to our scripts, author and books, how are they linked?
They're linked through book author.
They're linked through book author. Very good. Okay. If you remember, we did something like this already at the top. Somewhere here, when we were selecting the order items and the title and the author. So we pretty much need this. So where the books, sorry, not this, okay. Where the book author and book are linked, and the book author on the other end is linked with the author. Something like that. That's the structure we are looking for, okay? So from books B, inner join book author BA on these fields, and that is inner joining author on these fields. Does that make sense?
Yeah, that's what I did.
Okay. And oh, Ada last name was complaining about. Oh, is it L name probably? L name, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. Okay, it's not last name. Okay. Okay, here we go. So these
Okay.
are
Yeah, I did get it right.
these are the authors, because that book was written by multiple people. Okay. So those are the authors of the most expensive book. Now, I know some of you are still in the process of doing this one, and some of you are done. For those of you who are done, I want you to tweak this query around to display the last name and first name of the author as a join concatenated field. So display the last name and first name of the author as a concatenated field. You guys come up with your own alias of the most expensive book by retail. So something like this could do the job. Take the last name, concatenate with the first name, could be a sample solution. So we'll give a minute or so to everybody to complete this one. And then I will give you your next task. Okay? So in a minute or so, I'll give you guys your next task. If anybody's falling behind, we'll be able to catch up on that. Sometimes it happens such that the problem may seem more complicated than the solution itself is. Can you guys solve this one? I'll clear your feedbacks. Okay, so I see that a little over half, a little less than half of you are done. Maybe let's ask those who do not have it done to see what questions or what challenges are they facing. Let's see, would anybody like to share what is the challenge that you're facing in this one? Anybody? We've got Tony, Emka, Francisco, Jax, both of them, Robert, Victor. Where are you getting stuck?
I was just getting stuck on setting the pub ID to the title of the book.
Okay, now here's the deal. You are selecting the title from books. So it is the title that you're selecting. Based on where the pub ID is, and then you select the pub ID from books where the title is. This guy. So basically what you're saying to the inner query is, please give me the pub ID of this title, and I will use that pub ID in my outer query to select only those books which come from that publisher. Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So the inner query is only returning the pub ID of that book to the outer query, which is then selecting all titles from the books table which match that pub ID. So let me run this one. And these are the titles of the books where the pub ID is same as the pub ID of Big Bear and Little Dove. Or in other words, these books are published by the same publisher who published Big Bear and Little Dove. So let me clear the participation here. And let's give everybody a minute or so to complete the query. And in the meanwhile, for those of you who are done with the previous one, I want you to maybe use that same one or create another one, doesn't matter. But this is like an add-on to that query. So maybe you can copy paste line 73 down to line 78 and modify it according to the new comment.
First aside, I gotta get going, man. I gotta be up extra early tomorrow to shovel out all this snow before I go to work. I'm sorry. I've been up since 4:30.
Okay, now before you go, there's a very important thing I want to discuss with everybody. And that is the schedule for this class. Now I was under the impression that our advisory committee meeting will be the next week, which is the 16th. But the advisory committee meeting is on the 23rd. An advisory committee meeting also has a reverse career fair on the 23rd. So for those of you who are participating in the reverse career fair on the 16th, can take the same items to the reverse career fair on the 23rd. However, since you will be there and we won't be able to, meet in the class, I moved the midterm from the night of 16th to 23rd, but then that will make us come to class next week after your long Thursday day at WMCPA. So that's the only hiccup.
So this upcoming Thursday, after the Thursday day at WMCPA, then we'll log on for class.
Yes.
Okay.
Okay. So that's why I had to make this last minute change when they released the date for the advisory meeting. So I moved the midterm to that week. So the midterm will be available from 23rd through 30th. And we will
We
move.
don't have a class on 23rd.
Say it again?
We don't have a class on 23rd.
No, we will not have a class on 23rd. So that's why it says class will not meet on the 23rd because of that reason, because the advisory committee runs from 5:30 to 7:30 or 5 to 7:30, whatever it is. And then if you are there for the reverse career fair, sometime it takes longer till like 8 o'clock. So that's why, I moved the midterm from 16 to 23rd and will not meet that week. And the midterm will be available from 23rd through the 30th. Okay? Is everybody clear on that?
Yeah,
Yep.
I appreciate you, Saad.
Okay.
For the volunteers and stuff, I don't know. This is my first
I
year
know. That's what I wanted you guys to be aware that that's the reason for the change.
Okay. Yeah. And so if we're a little bit late, I don't know. I'm sure we'll be there
Yeah.
on time.
Yeah, I totally understand. I mean, like you told me about Monday too. So yeah. So I will, record. I usually don't record the day section because then I have to stay another hour for the recording to be completed. Because it takes sometime 45 minutes to an hour to render the whole class.
Right. If you have
So-
a previous recording of that section
Well,
already.
this is what I do. I record my evening class.
Oh, right. You said that. Yeah.
And
Okay.
then I make that recording available to you guys maybe the same night or the next day.
Okay. That's perfect. Yeah. You did say that before. I forgot. So
No.
thank you.
Yeah. So, okay, cool. So let's get back here. So when you're done with line 73, then you can maybe copy paste this down below and modify it. Okay, we will now ask Jessica, what did you do to make it work like line 77 addition?
All I did was after what we have here, I wrote and in parentheses retail minus cost. And then greater than, and then in parentheses select average retail minus cost from books.
So then generate more than average profit returned by all books. So we generate the average profit of all books and more than and the profit. So that generate more than average profit returned by all books. So that's what it will translate as. Very good. And here we get the 2 books. So our list is slightly shortened by that one thing. Okay. And for those of you who are done with this change, I want you to write a query. This is not a nested query. This is a query to display the category and average profit in each category. Okay, let's this time hear from Greg. What do you have?
I have select category, comma, decimal.
Decimal. Okay.
Yeah, because I want to get it shortened. AVG.
Oh, okay. So decimal, you directly did the AVG. Okay.
Yeah.
AVG. Okay.
Retail minus cost.
Retail minus cost. Okay.
And then I titled it as average profit.
Our rest of the things you did 4, 2 like I did.
Yes.
Okay. Okay.
From books,
Uh-huh.
group by category.
Group by category. Okay. Why did you group it?
So that it all works together.
Because
Like
you
it's
cannot
you want,
use a single value field with an aggregate function. That's why you have to group the non-aggregate function field, so that it basically creates a group of that field by putting multiple values as distinct, and that's how it creates a group, and then it averages that group. So yes, so now you have the average profit for each group. So again, for those of you who are done with this one, I want to know the average profit of literature category. So I'll clear your feedback here. Okay, let's ask Luke. What did you do, Luke, for this one?
Select average retail minus cost as literature
Very good.
from books where category equals literature.
Average. Okay, so you basically selected the profit from books where
Category equals literature, yeah.
Cool. Okay. And then, of course, we can take the same approach that we did here. Now, for a reason, I made you write these two queries. Because the next problem that I'm assigning to you you will need help from these queries to solve that problem. Okay. Now, did everybody understand these two problems, solutions? Okay. Now let me share with you the next problem that I want you to solve. So I shared with you smaller components. Now let's see if we can piece it all together. Okay, 3 of you are done. Let's see, Cole, what do you have for this one? Cole?
Yep, had to set something up. Okay. For that, I have, let's see. Pretty much the same as line 82, but after the group by category, I put having average retail minus cost is greater than, and then parentheses, select average retail minus cost from books where category is equal to literature.
Okay, so having average retail minus cost to be greater than, and then you select the average retail minus cost. Right?
Yep.
Yep. That's what it is. So this will display the list of all the book categories and the average profit of each of those categories for all those categories where the average profit exceeds the average profit of literature category. So we are first calculating the average profit of the literature category, and then we are selecting all those categories where the average profit exceeds this amount. Does that make sense? So guys, we will stop here for today. And in the assignments area, you know, you have been assigned this multiple table queries last time. So I will now assign you the assignment number 5 that we have done subqueries. So this assignment number 5, let's make it due by the next week, the 16th. So you can take care of assignment number 5. And as far as your quizzes are concerned, let me double check 1 second. You know, let me make you guys, anybody who's copying this code, let me make them see this while I check into which review did I assign you guys last week? Was it review 6?
Yeah, it was review 6.
Okay. No, I will hold off on quiz numbers, review number 7 till next week. So yeah, the assignment is the only thing that I'm assigning you to work on. Okay,
Sounds good.
cool. So I'll see you guys next week and take care.
All right, you too. Thanks.
You're welcome.